We're at the stage of the Blue Jays season where everyone's a little frustrated. They brought it all back. They ran it back in the city. And it's essentially the question that everyone asks when a starting lineup comes out is George Springer the leadoff hitter still? And usually the answer is yes, which is the case tonight.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, they've expected an awful lot out of him. They've expected a lot out of Bo Bichette. They've moved him around the lineup. I wish I had an answer for you. I don't have an answer. I can't figure it out. The Blue Jays were my preseason pick to represent the AL in the World Series.
This year?
Possible. Yeah, this year.
Wow.
This year.
So you thought that what they did in the offseason was the right move?
I like their talent regardless.
Okay.
I think their rotation was pretty solid. There were some questions, certainly, once Garrett Cole got injured with the Yankees rotation. I don't think anybody expected this out of them. We knew that the Rangers rotation was going to be banged up for at least half of the year. Nobody ever gives a team in the Central any shot. Baltimore, once they traded for Corbin Burns, I felt like they were, legit.
Well, we hope you're right.
I'm not going to be. I would be shocked if I was. So, I've believed in them the last few years. I really feel like they're a fairly complete team. Now listen, do I watch them every night the way that the diehard Blue Jay fans do? No, of course not. I've got 30 of my kids I've got to keep an eye on. But from what I do watch and what I do really honestly believe, I don't get it. I don't get it. There's a ton of talent there. I'm not understanding it for the life of me.
That's what literally everyone says here, and that's what kind of leads me to my question, because you talk about the talent that is on that Blue Jays roster, but how come what we maybe think the potential is never really equates to what's on the field? Like, how are guys like Bichette and Vladdy, how are they really going to turn into perennial superstars that carry that team? How does that happen?
Oh, boy. It's a great question because, if you were to have had just a straight-out player draft probably 2 years ago, how high do Bichette and Vladdy get taken? Just among everyday ball players. Both in the top 20, probably, right?
Yeah.
Probably, maybe 25 if you want to go that far down. And there's not a whole lot of teams that you could say that about. The Dodgers, the Braves, probably the Yankees, but not a ton of teams. And the other pieces that they've got, I think that they're living on borrowed time from this standpoint. I wonder if after this year they just don't say, hey, we've given it a good go. We've got to do something drastic, and that could mean trading one of those guys. Vladdy's hit the ball pretty well. He just hasn't done it for extra bases. A lot of his peripheral numbers are very good. Bichette is a different issue. Once again, I can't figure that out for the life of me. I thought he was a star in the making. He still might be. But he is going through something serious.
Their patience is obviously being shown, but at what point do Shapiro and company have to maybe look at the manager as maybe something less drastic, although I guess it's drastic for Schneider, rather than trading one of these younger players away?
Could do it. It usually doesn't work, right? That's not usually the thing that's going to hold back a team for the most part. There just might be some other issues, and none of us know. When you're not in a clubhouse on a daily basis, you're just not going to know. And so that gets a little dangerous if you start finger pointing, well, it's got to be this guy. Find me an angry baseball fan. They're all over the place when they talk about a a manager's bullpen management. Like, he's going to get all the blame for that stuff. Like, nobody likes the way your roster, your lineup's constructed, or the way your manager handles a bullpen. Just nobody. So he's going to get the grief on that, because, in part because the Blue Jays have had the worst bullpen in baseball. You know, like, so if there's a fresh set of eyes and a new voice, well, that's going to make all the difference in the world. And, you know, that stupid cliche, it's easier to replace 1 than 26. I get it, but at the end of the day, let's really figure out if you've got the right group of guys. Not that they're bad guys. That's not what I'm saying at all. But sometimes it just doesn't work.